Hey everybody, welcome back to another Motivation Monday podcast for Monday, March 19th, 2018. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a lot of fun stuff going on. Hope you've been doing a lot of playing. I know that I have. I've been so inspired over the past couple of weeks making some episodes of the podcast for you guys and just checking out a lot of really cool stuff. So I've been on the horn a lot and it's really been fantastic. Before we get into the episode, let me give a quick shout out to the sponsor for this episode, bringing it to you, making it possible, Rejuvenate. You guys have heard me talk a lot about Rejuvenate, and this is a product that I 100% believe in and 100% use multiple times every single day in my life as a musician and saxophonist. If you're looking for a brand new revolutionary way to store your reeds, you need to go and check these guys out at rejuvenate.com. We all know the overpriced reed holders out there that don't really work, and these guys are really selling an underpriced, in my opinion, product that really does work. So I would be really happy to see a lot more reed players, and they would too, be switching over to the Rejuvenate reed storage system. So check them out, rejuvenate.com, or you can head over to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, and click on the Rejuvenate link to learn more about their product. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring these episodes. We really appreciate it. So going back to what I was talking about before that, I've really been very inspired. One of the things that I really like to do is I've recently gotten a subscription to YouTube Red, which is a fantastic thing, costs $10 a month, and it eliminates all commercials on YouTube. But what it also does is it allows you on your smartphone to play YouTube videos in the background, meaning that you can shut down the screen and you can listen to YouTube videos almost like you would with a podcast or any type of audio product. And this has been great because while I'm driving, I don't want to waste my battery having the screen on, but there's so much valuable stuff on YouTube that I can just listen to as audio, including a ton of fantastic clinics and educational videos and things like that are on YouTube all over the place that I want to just listen to, especially being somebody that drives a lot to do teaching and to do gigs and all this kind of stuff. So I recently found, it was very recently uploaded, one of my favorite saxophonists, a clinic by Joel Fromm. He is just one of the best saxophone players on the New York scene right now. Just an unbelievable musician, one of the nicest guys in the world, and I mean, just crushes on the saxophone. So I was really excited to see that pop up in my YouTube feed, and I checked it out. And I think I've listened to this clinic about 5 times since I first saw it. And one of the things that he talks about that I thought was so cool is he talks about how obsessed he was with Johnny Griffin when he was younger. And he goes into this whole story about being injured and not being able to play the saxophone for a couple months, and really just listening to Johnny Griffin that whole time and even transcribing this really complicated solo that he played by ear. And it got me to thinking about the fact that I think every jazz musician needs somebody that they idolize more than anybody else, right? Now, I'm just kind of stream of consciousness thinking here. Maybe it's not a necessity, but in my mind, I feel like most of the people that I talk to who I really like their playing, who are really into jazz and music, they have one person that they can kind of point to as being their primary influence. And the advantages to this are that you can really get obsessed with this person, right? You can really dive into absolutely everything that they've ever done. And I feel like a really deep study of one musician in a lot of ways is better than a superficial study of 10 musicians. And I would guess that if you were to go into your own mind and think about the musicians that you know and love, there would be one musician that kind of stands out from all the rest that really just speaks to you as a person, speaks to you as a musician, just really you sort of get the way that they play and you idolize them. So think about that for a second. Think about who that might be for you. So for me, when I was younger, it was John Coltrane. And currently, I mean, not currently, but really, I think I settled on Joe Henderson. He is really the person that exemplifies everything that a musician is. He's so creative. He has such a distinct sound. And I think one of the reasons that it was Coltrane for me when I was younger is just the fact that I didn't really know about Joe Henderson. Or I knew about him, but I just didn't really get it at that point. As I got older and developed a little bit more, my ears developed and I started really understanding what my favorite music was. He was the guy that really stood out to me. So I've probably spent, upwards of 10,000 hours listening to Joe Henderson play the saxophone and trying to emulate what he does, transcribing him, reading transcriptions, looking for interviews of him online, just trying to absorb not only the music, but the very aura of him as a person. And I really, really feel like it has made me grow as a musician. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, isn't that a hindrance to you figuring out your voice as a musician? And I would have to say the answer is no. Because I can respect somebody and really become obsessed with somebody as much as I am about Joe Henderson and still develop my own sound. I can study him very, very closely and use some of the devices that he uses in his music, use some aspects of his sound on the saxophone. But I really feel like if you put enough time in on the instrument, you're going to find your own voice, no matter how much you try to emulate somebody else. And if it's high on your list of priorities to have your own individual sound, you'll end up with your own individual sound because it will be something that you work on a regular basis. So, I'm not even sure if you guys are going to get anything out of this podcast, but it's just something that really struck me this week. And I want you to really think about that. Who would be your person? And if you're not really truly obsessed with this person, it's not going to take much to get you to that level of obsession that's really going to benefit you. Like, study them to the fullest extent you possibly can and just see the benefits that start to happen for you. All right? Give me some feedback. Who is your favorite person? Leave me a message on Facebook. Email me at 10minutejazzlesson@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the website. Whatever. I would like to know who some of your people are that you feel like are it for you. If you were kind of with a gun to your head, choose one person that you really, really idolize in the world of music. Who would you say? Might even be interesting just to think about that for the first time, right? We all had favorite artists when we were kids. Kind of think in that way, I think that's a cool way to sort of go back and think about that fact. Okay, I'll see you guys on Monday with a brand new episode. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this made some kind of sense and benefited you in some way. If you want to leave me a message that just says this was the worst podcast ever, feel free to do that too. All right, have an awesome week, everybody. We'll see you on Friday with a regular episode. Bye.